Hello, everybody. Welcome. Come on in. We'll give you guys a few moments to get in the room and get ready for our monthly webinar. My name is Dr. Sarah Ellis. I am one third of the care team here at Magnolia Integrative Medicine, and I'm joined with our co founder, Jennifer Ervin, Magnolia's nurse practitioner and women's health expert. And today she is going to be spending some time teaching us about the healthy menstrual cycle, how to balance our cycle, and to pretty much learn how to establish a holistic guide to having a healthy period. So, Jennifer, how are you tonight?
I am doing well. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm
Uh,
doing pretty good. I'm
uh,
looking forward to learning all the cool and fun stuff, all about the healthy menstrual cycle.
Yay!
Yay.
And thank you all for joining.
Absolutely. So please share with your friends and family and anyone you know who may be struggling with period issues. Without any further ado, I am going to let Jen kick it off and begin an awesome webinar.
Awesome. Thank you.
Of course.
Alrighty. All right. As Sarah just introduced me, I am Jennifer Ervin. I am nurse practitioner, and I am presenting to you about holistic ways to approach a healthy cycle. And by the end of this webinar, we expect that you'll be able to understand the cycle, what the menstrual cycle is, why a balance in that cycle matters, and how to support your body naturally. So, we'll start by talking about why the menstrual cycle is important. Most times when you hear menstrual cycle, most people think that it's just the period, the moments where you're just bleeding and that's it. But there's so much more to the menstrual cycle, and so it's very essential to our overall health. It is a indicator of our hormonal balances and our reproductive health. And so when we speak on reproductive health, we're talking about our ability to get pregnant, to reproduce, because that's the purpose of our menstrual cycle. Um, and it contributes to multiple bodily functions. And so these bodily functions, when we're thinking about the menstrual cycle, is hormonal regulation. With hormonal regulation, your cycle helps to regulate key hormones such as your estrogen, progesterone, which these influences our mood, our metabolism, our bone density, and our overall our overall well-being. Detoxification. When we are menstruating, our body is essentially doing like a detox, right? It's getting rid of um, that uterine lining, if you haven't gotten pregnant. And so, menstruation is a natural way for the body to shed the uterine lining and remove any excess iron and toxins in our body. Bone health, as we were speaking about hormonal regulations, and bone density. Our bone density is so important. Our bones are so important, right? It's our skeletal, it helps supports our body. And so you would want to have strong bones to support your body, support your weight. And so bone health, when you think about bone health, we're thinking about estrogen, which is one of those essential hormones. And the estrogen levels fluctuate throughout our cycle, and it plays a crucial role in maintaining strong bones and reducing the risk of osteoporosis, which is essentially like a deterioration of the bone, causing them to be more weak and brittle. Our heart health is our menstruation cycle hormones are very essential to our heart health as well. Estrogen, again, we're speaking about estrogen again, it supports our heart health by improving blood vessel function and cholesterol levels. And of course, as we get into discussing menstruation more, and the effects of prolonged exposure to estrogen, low estrogen. We can see different cardiovascular problems that come from that, such as heart disease, um, mental health benefits. So hormones, mental health, directly correlated. And having a balanced menstrual cycle helps regulate those neurotransmitters that our body makes, such as your serotonin and your dopamine, which these affects our mood and emotional stability. Fertility and reproductive health. So we were talking about reproduction. Our As women, we are called to, or humans just in general, when we come together, we are to reproduce. And so a regular cycle indicates a well-functioning reproductive system, correct? Whether you're trying to get pregnant or not. So again, most times when we think about menstruation, we're thinking about that moment of when we are shedding that lining, the period, but we don't think about the overall picture of our menstrual cycle. Whether or not we're trying to get pregnant or not is still very vital and important to our overall body's well-being. Metabolic and weight regulation. So for those who struggle with weight, of course, we again look at those hormones, right? The cycle influences insulin sensitivity. And so, as we talk about a little later on, some of the disorders that can come along with irregular periods, that insulin sensitivity is like a big one, in what we call PCOS, right? So, a regular cycle indicates or influences insulin sensitivity and metabolism, which can impact how our body processes and store fat. Our immune system as well. So hormonal shifts throughout the cycle can impact our immune function, helping the body to respond to infections and inflammation. Okay. All right. So now we're moving into understanding the menstrual cycle. So this diagram here give us an outline or a picture of our menstrual cycle, right? So again, going back to that menstrual or menstruation, when we're shedding the uterine lining, we have here, that's the beginning of our menstrual cycle. It's the first full day of of your flow, right? So sometimes, from some ladies, you get a little spotting first, and then you have that full day of your blood flow. That is the first day of your menstrual cycle. And so these days, and then you move over into your follicular phase, then your ovulation phase, and then your luteal phase. Okay. All right. And so we broke that down. And again, it's those 4 phases. All righty. So our menstrual phase, again, the first full day, day 1 is the first full day of your flow. It's your body's way of resetting itself. It's when your body sheds the uterine lining. And during this time, your body needs rest and nourishment. So when you have your period, your body is getting rid of that uterine lining that it doesn't need, and that's what promotes the bleeding. And during this time, your body is working hard, so it's normal to feel tired. You may feel a little crampy, and you may want to rest more. Eating healthy foods during this time and staying hydrated is very essential to help your body recover. Next is your follicular, and I don't know if I mentioned that, but that's typically days 1 to 5 of your cycle. Now you may still bleed a little bit into, some people I've heard they have periods that last 7 days, but typically that 1 to 5 days, or 1 to 4, 1 to 5 days is your menstruation phase, even if you may still be bleeding into this next phase, your follicular phase. So during your follicular phase, Your egg is developing. Your energy should increase. And this is the best time for you to become more active, right? So during your follicular phase, days 6 to 14, this is when your body is getting ready to get pregnant. So your body's you have hormones signaling, excuse me, signaling to your glands in your body to release hormones to get you ready for period for excuse me, to get you ready for pregnancy, right? And so your brain is telling your ovaries it's time to grow these eggs, okay? And then only one matures at a time. And that's usually per the FS, follicular stimulating hormone, and that stimulates that egg to start to mature, to get ready to be released, for fertilization. The uterus also, in conjunction with your eggs maturing, is getting fluffy, right? It's building a lining in order to support a fetus if the egg is fertilized. And so during this phase, your energy may increase. It should be increasing at this point. You should feel more active. You should feel more happy and focused during this time. So this is a time where you can get into exercising, because typically them first 1 to 4 days or so, you probably zonked out, because your body's shedding that lining. And then you can work on your important tasks during this time as well. Days 14 to 16 is known as your ovulation phase. And so this is when your egg is actually released. It's ready, it's mature, and it's ready to be fertilized. So at this point, you should feel even more energetic and strong during this time. And this is what we call the peak. And I believe I have a um, guide here that will show you like the ebbs and flows of the different hormones during the different phases of the menstrual cycle. So during this time is when your body releases that mature egg from the ovary. And so this is likely the time when you will get pregnant if you're having unprotected sex. You're at higher your chances are higher of getting pregnant during this time phase of your menstrual cycle. Your energy is at its highest, and many people feel strong during this time, and you're probably feeling more confident and ready to go. Okay, your light is shining, you're ready to go. Okay. And I don't think I mentioned this, but the average cycle is anywhere from 21 to, I believe, 35 days. Okay. And so your luteal phases is that latter part of the menstrual cycle, anywhere from days 17 to 28. Again, as mentioned, it may vary, but it should not exceed or go below the 21 days to 35. Okay. All righty. So during your luteal phase, those hormones shift. Okay. So this is when you may feel more tired, your mood may change, you may start to get some cravings, maybe the chocolate, the cheese, the salt, whatever your body may decide that it may want. Because I know for myself, I definitely start to crave things right before my menstruation. And so PMS is most typical to happen during this time. And so during this phase is when your body waits to see if the egg will be fertilized. So remember, we was in ovulation phase. If you're having unprotected sex during that time, this is when the sperm enters the body and you are at higher chance of getting pregnant. All right. So if the egg is not fertilized, your hormone level starts to drop, right? Signaling to your body that it no longer needs that cushion. Remember earlier on, we spoke about the uterine lining building up to be that pillow or that cushion for the baby. And so during this time, again, PMS may start. You may feel more bloated. You may feel more tired. You may feel more emotional. And so this is a time to start preparing your body. Of course, throughout your cycle, you're wanting to eat healthy. You're wanting to keep good foods in your body. You're wanting to stay active as long as your body allows you to. But this is a time where you want to take care of yourself, right? Eat foods like fruits and vegetables that are supportive, and rest. Okay. Alrighty. And so we were talking about the different hormone levels here. So as you see, this is that endometrial lining in the beginning of the cycle. And again, this you have your little egg here. And as you mature, as you progress along and go into your follicular and ovulation phase. So this is here, this is showing your follicular phase, and then this is your ovulation when that egg breaks through and it's ready to be fertilized. And then when it's not, it leaves. And you see even here that your uterine lining is building. So you shed it down to nothing, and then it builds all the way back up here. Okay. All right. So briefly spoke about this healthy cycle signs. So when you're thinking about a healthy cycle, you will have regular periods anywhere from 21 to 35 days. Bright red blood with minimal clots. You may have some mild cramps and little to no PMS. And we say little to no PMS because there are certain dysregulations in hormones that can cause severe PMS or severe what we call PMDD. And so this is where you have severe up and down mood swings, and then severe cramping is not a normal. And so a regular period should also last about 3 to 7 days. Okay. All right. Signs of unhealthy cycles. Okay. Very painful cramps. There are different disorders that can contribute to very painful cramps, and we'll talk about those shortly. Heavy bleeding with large clots. Some ladies experience tremendous amount of bleeding during their menstrual periods, requiring heavy duty tampons, heavy duty menstrual pads, or if you use a menstrual cup, having to change those multiple times, soaking through your clothing in large clots. We spoke a little bit about this as well, your severe mood swings and fatigue. Okay. And then irregular cycles, meaning that it doesn't fall within the 21 to 35 day periods. It may be longer. You may skip. It may be prolonged, several months without a menstrual period. So those are things that will get a practitioner to thinking like, hey, what is the underlying cause of this? And again, missing periods, which we would call amenorrhea. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay. I don't see any. Okay. I don't see any questions. Okay. So first, when we talk about very painful cramps, that is dysmenorrhea. Okay. And some causes of dysmenorrhea are endometriosis, which is a condition where tissue, which usually would go inside or grow inside the uterine lining, grows outside of the uterus, and it causes severe pain. And typically, a lot of women experience even more pain during the time of their menstrual cycles. Fibroids, very, very common problem seen in women. These are non-cancerous growths in the uterus that causes cramping and discomfort, and most times heavy bleeding as well, depending on the size of them. Sometimes you can get small fibroids that doesn't cause any problems or pain, but larger ones, they definitely can cause a lot of pain and heavy periods. I've even had a young lady that I knew of who had a fibroid the size of a grapefruit. Okay. PID, which is pelvic inflammatory disease. PID is typically infection that's gone from the vagina up into the reproductive organs. So that means it's causing problems in the uterus, the ovarian, and fallopian tubes, right? So everything's inflamed. So you can imagine if everything's inflamed, that it's going to cause lots of pain. Um, Hormonal imbalance, low progesterone, or excessive estrogen can make your cramps worse. All right, so heavy bleeding with large clots is known as menorrhagia. And so again, and you'll see that these kind of correlate in between the two. So you may have hormonal imbalances and then you experience heavy bleeding with large clots and painful periods, right? So hormonal imbalances, again, too much estrogen or not enough progesterone can cause excessive bleeding. Fibroids and polyps, again, kind of I don't want to say cross pollinating, but crossing over, right? These growths can make your periods heavier. Thyroid problems. So, thyroid problems, whether it be an underactive or overactive thyroid, can impact the flow of, excuse me, your period. Excuse me. Blood clotting disorders. Um, Blood clotting disorders. Some conditions prevent blood from clotting properly, such as hemophilia and von Willebrand's. And of course, these are things like if you're having problems with heavy flow, your practitioner will do extensive testing typically, right? And first we'll, check you for your thyroid and, we'll screen different things. But if it's not found, then we would likely send you out to a specialist if we do not perform that testing ourselves. Okay. All right. Severe mood swings and fatigue. We talked about PMDD a little earlier. And so with PMDD, it's a extreme form of PMS. So ladies typically experience intense mood swings, depression, and fatigue prior to their menstrual cycle. It should relieve after the menstrual cycle comes on. However, if there are any questions as to or if your symptoms last longer, then of course we would do extensive testing for that as well. Iron anemia, iron deficiency, which is also called anemia, that you may hear it called low blood. And during this time, women may crave ice if they have anemia problems or what they call pica, that clay or dirt, or, crave those things. You may feel more tired, headaches, severe. You may have shortness of breath, chest pain, those things. But when you're thinking about heavy bleeding, when you're talking about severe, well, also with heavy bleeding as well, you want to definitely, a byproduct of heavy bleeding would be anemia because you're losing a lot of blood at once and your body doesn't have that time to recuperate. So iron deficiency anemia, heavy bleeding can lead to low iron levels, causing a lot of tiredness and fatigue and weakness. Again, we speak about thyroid disorders. Our thyroid is our central to our hormone regulator, right? So it helps regulate our energy levels and our mood, and an imbalance in our thyroid can cause an imbalance in those hormones, which can then in turn result in more fatigue and mood swings. Chronic stress and poor sleep. So in this world that goes, right? It can lead to chronic stress with the things that are going on in, our economy. It can cause stress and anxiety, which could lead to poor sleep patterns. And so stress, affects our hormones. Um, Lack of sleep. We don't have the ability to restore and rebalance and regroup. So that can also affect our hormones as well. So when we look at these, mood swings and fatigue, chronic stress and poor sleep can add to that as well. All righty. And so irregular cycles or missing periods, which is also known as amenorrhea. Thank you. All right. So PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. And so we were talking about metabolic and insulin sensitivity, how it can affect our metabolism. So in PCOS, this is where our ovaries produce excess male hormones, right? And it can lead to irregular and missed periods. It can lead to weight gain. Sometimes you may notice hair, excess hair under the chin, the chest. So this is a cause of irregular cycles and missing periods. Excessive exercise and low body weight. You can also see some period changes in those who suffer from eating disorders. But those who go hard in the gym, those who go hard in physical activities, may either have a missing period or irregular periods because the overworking the body or not eating properly can affect how our body. Sorry. All right, let's see. Not sure if I can get it to go back. But yes, so the overworking the body and not eating can stop the period. Thyroid issues, again, the slow or overactive thyroid gland can cause irregular cycles. And then again, that chronic stress. High stress levels can mess up the signals between our brain and our ovaries, which can delay and stop the periods. So now we want to talk a little bit about holistic approaches to balancing our hormones. All righty. All right. So first things first, we want to start by looking at our nutrition and our hydration. Eating whole foods, preferably organic, fruits, veggies, and whole grains, like your multi-grain breads and things like of that sort. Even your fatty fishes, salmon, tuna, those things of that sort gives your body the proper nutrition that you need. You will want to, again, ideally eat like this throughout your menstrual cycle, but surely when you are getting close to your menstrual cycle to switch, or change or incorporate these if you're not eating them throughout your menstrual cycle. If you are experiencing those PMS, symptoms, the cravings, the bloating, those things, definitely these are the moments where you want to kind of reverse that thinking instead of going for the sugary foods or the carbonated drinks that's full of sugar or salty things. You would want to think more whole foods. Drinking enough water is so essential. Hydration is essential just all around in our body's well-being. And herbal teas, and we'll talk a little bit more about raspberry leaf tea. And again, I spoke about this, reducing sugar and processed foods to lower inflammation. So sugar is directly tied to inflammation. Lots of sugar, it causes inflammation in our gut, in our overbody. So when you think about inflammation, you automatically think about pain. And processed foods, those that are high in ingredients that we can't pronounce, right? We want to steer clear of those. Exercising your body regularly. And again, ideally, you would want to already have established this throughout the menstrual cycle. However, definitely in those moments leading up to your period and throughout your period, only as tolerated. So yoga, walking, and strength training are some things that you can do in order to keep your body moving, keep it healthy, and to even manage stress, right? Deep breathing, meditation, and journaling also helps with balancing stress. All right. So some herbal and natural remedies that you can incorporate, and of course, with these, you always want to consult your healthcare professional before you incorporate them to ensure that you're able to take these and that they're not interacting with any of the medications that you're currently taking. Right. So ginger and turmeric. Fave. Ginger, turmeric helps reduce cramps and it helps reduce inflammation in your body. Maca root, it helps support a healthy hormone balance. Magnesium is also a all-time fave. Magnesium and vitamin B6, it helps with your PMS symptoms. Magnesium helps with relaxation of your muscles. It helps with mood. It has an array of benefits. Okay. We spoke about raspberry leaf tea. Raspberry leaf tea, it helps support your uterus and help regulate your cycles and reduce heavy bleeding. And again, you can find this in tea form um, or just the herbal supplement. Vitex, it helps balance your hormones, especially for irregular cycles and PMS symptoms. So, again, when we're talking about nutrition and things that you can do, those magnesium rich foods, excuse me. Alrighty, those magnesium rich foods such as your avocados, your nuts, um, dark chocolate is really good and that can satisfy that sweet tooth as well. Dark chocolate has antioxidants in it also, which is very good for cleaning out those free radicals, those toxins and things that we need. You're already entering into your menstruation, which is already a detoxification. So adding in the dark chocolate can definitely help with getting free of the bad things that's not that doesn't need to be within you. These help relax your muscles and reduce cramps. Iron rich foods, you are losing blood. So again, when we're thinking about those who may have heavy bleeding, um, you would want to restore the iron that you're losing through the bleeding. So your dark leafy vegetables like your spinach, beans, lentils, and your lean meats all help prevent anemia or supports building your iron back up for those who have heavy bleeding. Your healthy fats. So we spoke about those fatty fishes, your omega-3s, like your salmon, your tuna. Um, you can also get healthy fats from your flax seeds, walnuts, olive oil, avocado oil. Those are all healthy fats that can support your hormone production. Hydration. Drinking plenty of water can help prevent the bloating that can occur. Even adding a little lemon to your water as well, it helps with detoxifying. Lemon ginger to your water or lemon ginger tea. Again, it helps to hydrate you and it helps ease cramps. And apple cider vinegar is helpful in balancing blood sugar, and um, it can help regulating your cycles through blood sugar support. Some herbal teas. We spoke about the ginger turmeric earlier, which you can mix that and create your tea. Raspberry leaf, you can create that into a tea as well. Peppermint tea, it helps with your bloating and your cramps, and then your chamomile tea also reduces stress and improves sleep, which is important as your body's restoring. Uh-oh. All right. Uh-oh. There we go. All right. So sleep and rest, I think this messed up a little here. But when you're thinking about sleep and rest, for one, stress support is essential and important. Adequate sleep and rest, 7 to 9 hours of rest at night to allow your body the time to move through the sleep cycles so that you're well um, rested, that your body can reset and restore and heal itself while you're resting. Um, Alrighty. All right. So that concludes um, our slides there. Some action steps that you can take on your end to have a healthy um, menstrual cycle is tracking your cycles, tracking the patterns. If you're finding anything abnormal, so say you're tracking your cycles and you are bleeding for 10 days and it's heavy, or you're clotting more, or your mood is off, or you're having these cravings, by tracking your period, tracking what you're feeling, that can help you and your practitioner be able to better assess what's going on with your body and to be able to better diagnose and treat as well. Also, implementing those lifestyle changes, right? So, um, drinking more water. And really, these lifestyle changes again can expand throughout your menstrual cycle. This can become a lifestyle change, right? So this is something that you would do throughout your lifestyle, throughout your life. You know, of course, we want you to eat whole foods, again, preferably organic, because it's better for your body. Your gut loves it. Your body just loves it. Hydration, hydrating your body is essential to all of your bodily functions as well. Um, if you can opt for whole food over your junk food, so you may have that craving, but swapping it for something that will be beneficial to your body and not harmful, right? And reducing your stress. So, stress management is very important. We discussed earlier meditation, exercise helps reduce stress. Journaling, exercises like journaling, find your hobby. I know for myself, creativity is a big thing for me. So creating and crafting is something that helps me, with my stress, right? And then um, just creating a better lifestyle. And so that concludes. If there's anybody in the chat, if you have any questions or concerns or anything at all, just let me know. And if not, again, you can find us at 1064 Gardner Road, Charleston. We are Magnolia Integrative. Again, I am 1/3 of the founders. Our email, you can reach us at hello@Magnolia Integrative South Carolina, SC.com. You can call or text us at 843-501-2333. And if you are ready to take the next step, if any of this information has been helpful, and you would like to book an appointment to discuss anything more about your menstrual cycle health or menstrual cycle problems that you are experiencing, we are more than welcome. You are more than welcome. And we are here to help you and to support you and to help you feel better. So you can call our office to book an appointment. Continue, or if you are following, we thank you for following. Please like, share, tag, invite others. Follow us for more wellness tips. Our Instagram page is Magnolia Integrative Medicine. Our YouTube and TikTok is at Dr. Sarah Ellis, ND. Stay connected. You can join our email list to gain access to our monthly webinars, our group coaching sessions, and community for ongoing support. We thank you on this evening for joining us. And we look forward to seeing you in some of our other webinars. You take care. Bye-bye.